Welcome to Positive Philter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place.
All right, Positive Philter listeners, it's Philip Wilkerson back with another episode of Positive Philter. We have a guest, not really. I'm just gonna call you my co-host that's on sabbatical, and he can come in when he can. I try to use a big word, that's why I stuttered. So I was trying to think of sabbatical, but I got my good friend Hillard, who has joined me on the podcast a few times. And I think the last time we had an episode together was our Q&A way back. I looked, it was November, late November. So what's been up, man? What's some updates? What's going on in your life?
So last week my mom was here, which that was nice. She was here spending time, I want to say with me, but she really came for her granddaughter. So, school's about to start again, another year. This is going to be my second year at this school, as a school counselor and stuff. Things is going all right. I guess I'm getting used to accepting the idea and the fact that I got to be out here for a while, so.
Yeah.
I can't just leave. So, yeah. So things is, I guess once you start accepting certain things, like, you put yourself in a better space, and I think, it just helps, so.
So you've accepted the fact that you're the sole black man in Idaho.
Pretty much. It's funny. Like, all right, so my mom was here, right?
Yeah.
We went somewhere, and the whole time she was here, like, I'm trying to sell her, like, Mom, you need to move here, man. You about to retire in 2 years. Just move here. Like, just spend the rest of your days. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can just retire, get a place here, live in one of those like communities where it's like 65 and up. They got beautiful homes out here in like a lot of these different areas in Boise. So I'm like, man, just come out here and, just retire and, spend time with Maddie. She looked at me. She was like, Hillary, in her thick Jamaican accent that she still got after like 20-something years living in the U.S. She was like, where the black people? I was like,
you're looking at them.
No idea.
You're looking at them.
I was like, Mom, yeah. I was like, I don't know. I was like, but when we see each other, though, we act like we know each other. That's
sure. You do the head nod. You do the head nod and all that, right?
We do. Oh, man. Come on. It's like we stop and have conversations. Like, seriously. Like, I'll stop and have random conversations. It's just, hey, they're just crazy. Like, that happened to me, like, a couple months ago in Walmart. And funny. It was just a guy, like, he ended up just moving out here, too. He was from California and stuff. Pretty cool guy. But we stayed there and talked for, like, 20 minutes.
There you go. Well, I think that's a good segue. Good segue. So it's a good segue, though, because it's good to see that you're in a better place. I know some of the listeners you diverged I can't even talk today, dude. You divulged or you told that you were going through a divorce, and that was probably a hard time. And so I think this episode we are discussing a little idea that me and you kind of thought of talking about was happiness and how we kind of rate or assess our happiness, and how it's good to hear that you're in a better place, you're happier now, and how you kind of have to assess where you are and know that things are not going so well, and then how you check in with friends when you're not doing so well. So I kind of did this informal scale, which I don't think is really original, because I remember when I worked at a psych hospital, they did what we call a risk assessment, where you had to like ask people that came in the hospital, like, what are you today? And you had to do that on like a scale of 1 to 10. And if someone was a 1, you had to be like, oh gosh, this person's suicidal. You know, it was a wellness check.
Right.
But I kind of took that. I took that scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like, you know, this person is very low and dangerous and suicidal and not a good a place, and 10, life is perfect. And I kind of used it for myself. I mean, not to say I have a risk assessment, but it was good to kind of use it for myself and just kind of measure where I am. Because, you know, for me, like when you step on a scale and you know your body weight, you know, it's a tangible way to say what you need to improve. You know, it's a number. And so for me, having this tangible number to assess where I was between 1 and 10 just kind of gives me a gauge of like, I don't know, puts things in perspective. And, you know, no one's life, I guess, is a 10. So I never, ever say when someone says, how you doing? And I use this scale, I never say I'm a 10. You know, I try to aim for just something good, like an 8, you know, or a 9.
Right.
But things come up in life, and I realize that you can dip a little bit in that scale. And I don't know, I thought this would be a good thing. So, like, you know, kind of want to give an example for the listeners. I know I'm talking a lot, and maybe I'll give you a time to explain. But, like, you know, there's times I think people think the way I show myself on social media and how I, like, portray myself, everyone probably thinks I'm, like, 8 or 9 all the time. But there was a time between this last episode and now to this summer where I was going through a real, I would say, a depression. And I think if someone was going to ask me what my number was, I'd probably tell you I was like a 3 or 4, which is, you know, obviously not to the level of harming myself, but just wasn't a good place, and I was very down. And so, I don't know. You know, I know you can tell I was going through that. I had a lot of stressors, new job, which I didn't feel comfortable in, a new kid, which I didn't feel comfortable in raising, you know, just responsibilities and feeling like I'm letting people down. And I don't know. Maggie thinks, and I don't know if I told you this, but Maggie thinks I probably had some form of postpartum depression, which, you know, I'm coming to find out males can have it too.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it. I mean, now that I think about it, it makes a little bit of sense. You know, you were about to say that you thought that. You actually thought I had that.
Not thought you had it, but like I was gonna say that males can get that too. That's not like something uncommon. It's not common, but
No, it's not.
I would say it's something that can definitely happen with men too that we don't realize. You know,
right?
Just like what's the other thing? Women go through menopause. Men can go through what's that called? Andropause or something like that. It's over the A.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, like there's something like that. You know what I mean? So it's like
midlife stuff. Yeah. Like
it's menopause. Like all these things that that we like. You know, we group these gender stereotypes that we group, but I mean, it can happen to the other side as well. So, I mean, you know,
and I
just
think
kind of
what they said, like they like when Maggie was sending me articles. You know, luckily I have a really good support system. I have you, and you know, like quite honestly, when I was at that 3, and I was not. I think a lot of people don't know that I was going through this, but my closest friends do. So, you know, for some of the listeners, that might be a surprise that I was going through this. Really bad depression was that, you know, I didn't want to go to work, and not because, you know, like I hate my job. My job's actually pretty good. I really like my coworkers, and everyone's like, actually, this is probably one of the most healthy work environments, but I just was not mentally except I was thinking I was always messing up at work, or think I wasn't going to be prepared at work. Like just these crazy I say crazy, but like really self-defeating thoughts that were not logical. And, you know, it's so weird that as a counselor, having a background in counseling, I like to say I'm pretty aware of my feelings. I'm pretty aware of others. I think I have really good empathy, but it was almost like I could see myself outside of myself. Like I knew that, like, dog, this is not happy. Like this is not good.
Right.
I could tell you I'm a 3. I can assess I wasn't like lying to myself and saying I was a different level of stressed out or depressed. But it wasn't like nothing I was doing was getting me out of that funk. Not even no self-talk or anything. And,
right.
you know, I was having just like really crazy visions of just like other people thinking I'm like whack and like, you know, thinking that people didn't like me or that I was not a good person. And, you know, I think I've only been, you know, that I would say depressed like once in my life. So I knew what it felt like, but I don't know. It's just hard to describe. And I think it was helpful for me to know that if I could measure like, you know, where I am in happiness and stuff and just think about it, maybe I could work toward finding a better space. And like, I don't know. I knew if that was low, I couldn't stay there. Like, I couldn't possibly be that forever. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So let me ask you a question then. So obviously, like, you're in a better place now, right?
Yeah.
So then what got you to this space where you're at now? You know what I mean? You shared kind of, you know, everything, the background of how you were feeling, you know, being in that mind state, you know, a few months ago. But then, like, what helped you to kind of make those steps to get out of it?
Time and counseling, like actually seeking help, addressing that, like, you know, this is a mental health thing. So, like, if you go to the doctors, you need to go to the doctors, you know, for a broken elbow and stuff like that. I need to go to a doctor for this, and I needed to like have a plan. And, you know, if I went to counseling, take it seriously. I went like, you know, I'm still going now, and that's like almost now I'm still going, because even if I'm in a better place, I feel like I need it like as a routine. And eventually, you know, I need to start working out and taking care of my physical as well, because you know, that makes me feel good about myself. But like, yeah, I know it was just I couldn't do it by myself. I needed some external help. Mm-hmm. And then eventually my job just got better. I mean, as I got more confident in it, there's just time. And like Miles got better, as in like I was, you know, he growing up and I feel more connected, and he's such a smiley. Like, it was just like, I guess I need to give it time. Like, you know, like if it's a wound or a broken bone, you get a cast. That's the way to fix it. But also you need a cast, and you just need to let time take its course, you know, like eventually it'll get better, you know. But it's hard to see that. Like, in the moment, you don't think you don't see that ending point or better point. You don't see yourself climbing up. Right. So I mean, but I don't know. I think it is what it is, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, I think that. I mean, that's good. I know, and you could tell. I think some of the other external things. I think about not when people are listening to this episode about measuring their own happiness and assessing themselves. I mean, also I would also add that a lot of external people told me, they asked me what was wrong. They knew that it wasn't like I wasn't like ill feel. You feel me? I wasn't laughing and joking or being stupid. I even went ghost. You know, that's not me. Yeah. I was going ghost on text, and so you know me, I'm the guy that keeps everyone in the loop and bothers everyone. So even when I went ghost, that was kind of a sign to you, you know. Right.
Yeah, and I mean our friendship was 15 plus years, so you know, obviously, I'm gonna see some red flags probably a lot quicker than some other people, you know. And then obviously I started recognizing when you were climbing out of it, and I kind of saw when you kind of getting out of it, because certain things that you would do, you started doing again. And I was like,
what? Like what?
Like, just your jokes, just you know, I mean, we got like we seriously got like a problem. Like, I'm telling you, like, me and Phil, we got a problem, because we got like 4 or 5 like. I mean, we kind of trimmed it down a little bit. We got like 5 different like group chats, and like we all in them, but it's like 5 different ones, because in each one of them is probably like 1 or 2 different people.
Yeah.
You know, and we just recently started one with you, me, Dave, my brother, and Shay to like talk about power. You know what I mean? But it's like, man, you got like 4 or 5 like different things. So it's yeah. But
so I'm a ghost on all of them.
Just like I like when you wouldn't respond, and I was used to you responding, I was like, something's going on. And so then when we finally talked and had that conversation, then, you know, it made sense. So, but then slowly, you know, as time kind of progressed, you just like I just saw you like, you know, just added more, you know, to the conversations and stuff. And so it just like, all right, you know what I'm saying? He coming along. And then you just kind of coming back and just like, just your witty jokes and your witty remarks within like, you know, whatever we talking about. Just you just being witty and funny, being yourself with that. It's like, okay, like, you know, they don't feel back. The homie's back. Like, you know, it just, your personality is just shining. And it's natural. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like people can tell when you're off and when you're not yourself, because, you know, it's just abnormal. It's not the norm what they recognize and what you show, you know. So, but.
So, like I said, I'm feeling right now I'm pretty good. I'm back to like a 7.5, 8. You know, I'm feeling good. I feel confident. I feel happy. I love, like, I've always loved my kids, but I like really feel good about the 2 boys. Sometimes I'm handling them by myself. And, you know, I just feel confident. You know, I definitely can grow a lot more in my job. But where would you say you are right now?
Oh, man. So, before last week, I would say, man, I was probably like 7 or 8. Probably about an 8. And then last week, Maddie, we're about to put Maddie in daycare, and then I found out the cost, and that financial stress just dropped me to like a 6, 7. It like seriously like dropped me a point. I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
Right.
you know, because it's just one of them things, man. You know, money is not the root of happiness, but it damn sure can help.
Right.
You know, so it's like when you're finance, you know, when you're stretching yourself in different situations financially, it does cause stress, but, you know, you can't allow yourself to stay there. I'm not going to allow myself to stay there, so.
Right, and it's not.
So I'm climbing back up because I'm figuring out a plan. Like, I have a plan, and now I'm just going to implement the plan.
Right, that helps.
And if that plan don't work, then I got to go to another plan because, like, daycare is going to start. You know, that's something that's happening.
Yeah, it's not going to stop. You got to go through it.
So it's like, I got to figure it out. Like, it's something to just, hey, man, now, you know, it's a new thing. Like, boom, figure it out, man. And it'll be all right. So yeah, but, I mean, I would say probably last summer, man.
Yeah. Last summer, were you were the flip-flop. You were like the 3 or 4.
Bro, man, I think I was probably like at it. Man, at one point I was at like a 2. Like
really down.
Like a 1.52. Like I was low, bro. Like I know I was low because I can look back and reflect on it. But even within that, like just having the support and having my people, my family and my friends that I can lean on. And I'm not above counseling. I wanted to go. I just couldn't afford it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and my job is only going to give me 5 free sessions. And 5 ain't going to be enough for me. Like, I already know because I went to counseling before. Like, 5 don't work for me. I need more because, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just know what I need for me. So, man, it was hard not being able to go and have a counselor to talk to, you know, but having my family, my friends, and then working out, man, I lean so much on working out, and I lean so much on my daughter. Like, if I ain't have her, man, like, she helped me. And she, you know what I'm saying? Like, she don't know. She just, like, wanting to spend time with me. It's just that pure love of her just giving that to me. would drive me and motivate me to want to do better and to be better.
So you was at a 1. I mean, or 1 point. I mean, you were really. Was it the same thing as I said? You just think this time got you out of it, like naturally, ebbs and flows of life got you like.
Well, it was
like
the
time and counseling helped me, but you didn't have counseling, so just eventually time got better.
Yeah, it was just like, all right, it gets better. There's acceptance too, because all right, this is the situation. This is where I'm at. Now I got to start over, which I wasn't a fan of it. Like I was pissed that I had to start over. And now I'm starting over and I'm doing it by myself when I came out here to do it with, have like somebody, have a partner to do this whole situation with. And now I got to do it by myself. And now I'm doing it. Also, I'm doing it in an area, in a place where I don't want to do it. So it's even more. And all my support and the people that I trust and the people that I love and the people I'm willing to let in, and drop my guard completely for, hundreds of miles away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like all those things, like boom, 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 boom. And I'm going to go start a new job.
On top of
like,
that,
I was doing counseling for 4 years, but, it's like starting somewhere new. I got to learn the ropes all over again, learn that culture, and, navigate myself through that. So it was like all these things, like, and it's just like, man, it was just too much.
Which is interesting, because, like, I'm looking at the graphic that also, me being alpha, I've seen there's this campaign called Reclaim Your Strength by, like, the Henry Health organization. And they were saying the 5 stresses of black men. And they're doing, like, this campaign about addressing those stressors and figuring out. And it's one is money and finance, race and racism, jobs and career, relationships and family, and health and illness, right? Those are the 5 things that kind of stress you out and affect you. And when we're both going through our situations, I'm checking all of them, like the ones that affected me, right? So we'll go back, we'll do both of yours, but like, or maybe just what I'm hearing from you is like the stresses of your situation last summer was like money and finance, right? That's a big one. Race and racism, you're the like only black person in Idaho. Job and career, you're starting a new job. Family and relationships, like you said, like you're going through feeling like you're alone. And the last one that you do have control over that you're doing well is you're very healthy. But you have like 4 out of 5 stresses concurrently at the same time. The one that's not is your health, because you're doing so well, because you work out so well. And maybe on the
because
side
I refuse to let go of that. Like like what it was is like I refuse to let go of that. Like I grabbed onto that.
Then you would have had all 5, dog.
I would have lost it. Like I seriously, I would have fell off the wagon. Like y'all would have had to come and get me.
Yeah, take you home.
You see what I'm saying? Because I fought it so hard. I was like, yo, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let the situation break me and for me to go out there and start partying and drinking and acting a damn fool. I got a daughter I got to take care of. Let me put my energy and focus into the gym. There were times, man, like I was doing construction and I was going to the gym. Like I was roofing. I don't know if you ever done roofing, but that's hard work, man. Like I was doing that last summer. And so I was doing that, and then I would go to the gym, or I would go to the gym, like, and then go roof. Like I was just spending my time, gym. Like any time I had, like that was my sanctuary. Between that and then like reading my Bible and praying, because like I just grew up in the church, so like that part is just it's in me. You know what I'm saying? Like from I was young, like my parents, my family, my mom was like, nah, like you going to church. Like there's times I try to skip out on it. Nah, you going. So like that part is just ingrained in me. So it, like that's meditation for me too. But I had to like hold on to that health component like with dear life, so I didn't like let everything fall apart.
Right.
And then slowly, other components started to come, start to find their way back to where it wasn't as stressful. Like now, I still got stressed in, those areas, but it's not as bad, it's not as big.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah,
but you can see that like they're facing race being the only. I bet that over a prolonged time that can take a toll being the only black person. The race, maybe not necessarily overt racism, but just the presence of knowing your race and thinking about it constantly could be what they're saying is a burden. You carry that with you as a black male. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then all those other things. And like for me, I think like if I was gonna check mine off, it wasn't like race or racism. I don't really. I mean, I guess prolonged, but I think the main thing was job and career, right? That changed. My family relationship. Like, I have another kid now. Maybe it's, more back on the bottom of the totem pole and not the focus of my wife who needs to focus on her kids. And money and finances.
Right.
Like you said, I got to, think about daycare for 2 kids now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So, it just, I think that being ever present that, like, as black men are not talking about it, or not getting help, this is a silent killer. Stress is a silent killer. These stressors, if you don't take care of it, is going to lead to what you said. Like, if you didn't have a positive health outlet, you're going to go drinking or negative behaviors drinking, right? Well, I didn't, like I said, if I didn't have a positive, which are my friends, or depression, it'd just be like being in bed all day and just, like, days where I didn't want to go to work, I just wanted to stay in bed. I wasn't even really sick, but it was like I felt a physical sickness. I was so depressed that I felt it. I felt sick. And it's just so interesting that these stressors are things that, like, I'm more comfortable talking now about and advocating for mental health and talking about it with other people. It's because, like, I have the empathy for it. And then also I know, like, that, like, you're not really necessarily alone. Like, it was so weird. It was like Hillard's going through a tough time. I'm there for him. And then, like, I was like, I'll be good. And then it like hit me almost like it was contagious or something. And like we flip-flop and you're in a better place and I was the one going through a rough time and you were there for me. And like, I don't think a lot of people, I think our counseling program made us people that we talk about it. I mean, we've always been friends. Like, not friends, like brothers, but like, I think now being able to recognize that within ourselves, to have that awareness, helps in like knowing to check each other. And like, I think, I think it's a good thing now. I think that I don't foresee myself ever being that low again. Who knows what life is going to happen. Maybe something will happen, but like, I know constantly if I am that low, I can go. I know we both know to recognize those 5 stressors that we're talking about and what area that is affecting the most to address it. If I'm really broke, maybe get another job or figure out some money situation. If having relationship issues, counseling. If my health and illness is affecting me, like try to find ways to be more healthy. So all those things,
Right. I mean, yeah. It's coming up with a plan.
Yeah.
It's recognizing that you need support and you need the help. But we all do. I mean, we all need help, like, throughout life, period. But there's going to be times we just need more help, than other times. Like, that's just how it is. Right. And so it's like recognizing that, then putting that pride aside, especially as men, like men, we're prideful, and it's hard for us sometimes to verbalize that help that we need, or even like, to seek it out or whatever.
Right.
So to then ask for that help, and then look back at the experiences and stuff that that you had when you were going through something kind of similar to this. Like, what did you do to get yourself out? And then try to apply those things. And then if that doesn't work, then apply other things. Like, don't be afraid to, like, to to like do other things. Like, you know, go talk to somebody. Go, you know, go see a counselor. Like, you've never done it before, you know, and you feel like you don't want to do it because of the, you know, I guess the stigma that goes along with talking to somebody, man. Like,
and, you know, for some people they might
like,
use medication. You know, who knows? You know.
Yeah.
Like,
If I could, I mean, seriously, like, if I could afford it, because sometimes, like, I mean, it can be expensive. It depends on where you live, your state, what your job is willing to pay for, whatever. But, like, if it wasn't a financial thought for me, man, I'd do it every week. For the rest of my life. I would. To have somebody to go to that I can grow and have that rapport, and then I can go there and I can talk to that individual and work out stuff within an hour session of sitting there and just talking and figuring it out and coming up with a better plan. Why wouldn't I do that?
Mm-hmm.
To benefit myself? You know what I'm saying? So that stigma that goes along with it, I think is we gotta push past that, because our mental health, man, like our happiness, our mental health, like it all ties in together, and we all gotta, like, that's what you gotta strive for, man. That's what, you know, that happiness. Like we're talking about happiness, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm getting to that space, man, where I'm feeling like I can say like I'm happy, and I'm like I believe it again, like, or I can say like, yo, I'm good, and I'm like really good. I'm not just saying it to like blow somebody off because I don't want to talk about the situation or the, you know, or the topic or whatever. Like, that's what I'm going after. Like, yeah, I'm chasing that. Like, yes, I want to be better off financially and all that stuff too, but my number one goal, man, is like to be happy, get consistent happiness within my life.
My thing is, like, you know, like I said, having awareness of self is I don't never want to be as low as I was or as depressed as I was. But like you said, like, knowing even with obstacles to maintain a certain level, you know, like even with all the obstacles in life, I never want to be lower than a 6.
Right.
That's just my mindset. And I'm saying, I'm just throwing out an arbitrary number, but I know what it feels like to be a 6, and I know what my body, my mind, my attitude, and my jokes and laughs. I don't want to be, no matter what, I don't want to be lower than that. I know things are going to come up that I need to address. So it's more like now is recognizing those things, and like I think, you know, kind of flipping it, like for the what can you do when you're low, when you're feeling low, is I kind of think of it, besides just counseling and putting things in perspective, is kind of just develop your strategy, like you said, is assess what you are, like assess where you are, rate where you are, think about it, and then once you assess what you are, address the issue directly, you know, like don't just sweep it under the rug, address it. And then, as you said, if a plan doesn't work after you address it, adjust that plan and try again. And then I think we constantly have to go through that, like that strategy of assess, address, and adjust doesn't just happen once in life. This is going to be a cyclical thing. We're going to be doing it for the rest of our life, because, you know, things are going to affect those 5 stressors. You know, something with money is going to come up. Something as a black male in our race is always going to come up. You know, even if you have a secure job, something can change in your job. You get a new role. You get a new responsibility added or taken away. In relationships, you know, like even if you're in a perfect relationship with a spouse or some new relationship can be introduced. So, and then health, you know, things fluctuate in your health, you know. So like these 5 stressors, that the main stressors of people and things you're going through are never going to be, it's ebbs and flows. It's so easy. It's like for us, both of us, it's so easy for us to reflect on what we're doing and how we felt when you're in a good mindset. It's like really, really hard to see that when you're in it, you know, like when you're in the thick of it. Like there is no seeing or being super aware. But it's so weird. Yeah. So it's like out of body now to think of it. Like I was thinking that, I was like, Maggie was telling me things I would say, and I'm like, I really, like, truly and honestly believe things like that. Like, that's not, like, you know, I would say things like, Maggie, why are you with me? You don't love me, like that. Like, you don't love me. Like, I don't deserve you. You, like, I'm just failing you. And I'm like, no, like, really? Like, now I'm thinking, I was like, that's not true. I'm like, you know, she knows I help, and I'm good. You know, we're good together, and we're happy. Like, why was I saying such things? So it's like, it's so weird though that you can have a lot of awareness. It's easier to have, like, what I'm trying to say is easier to have awareness when you're in a good space. It's very hard to be aware when you're in a bad space.
Right.
Because your vision of yourself is not clear. It's very cloudy.
It's clouded, yeah. And so that's why, like you said, man, like, that's why you go and you talk to people, and, you know, those people that you can trust. And, you know, if you're not comfortable, you know, seeking, like, that professional help, but so that they can give you that good, like, that perspective. Like, hey, like, you know, because there were times when we spoke, and you said stuff, and I was just like, whoa, like no, like, you way off right now. Like, you ain't nowhere close to that. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like having people be able to, like, give you that feedback. Yeah.
Challenge your crazy, your bad crazy. Like
challenge. Yeah.
Challenge it, and it's just but you're hard to challenge when your mind won't. Like, like in your own mind, your mind's very powerful and when you're trying to challenge it, it's just not working. So,
right.
But after a while, like, I don't know, it's so easy. Like, it's so interesting to see, like, where you are when you're in a different space. And so, like, I don't know, just for the listeners out there, I mean, I know, like, think about where you are, rate yourself, you know. Don't lie. No one's a 10. Opposite of positive filter, but no one's life is perfect. Everyone's going through stuff. But just know that if you're an 8, keep doing what you got to do to stay an 8. If you're an 8 and you're working out and money's good, do those habits and things to keep you at your 8. You know, keep you in a good space. But if you're low, get the help and address it. You know, don't think that if you're low and you got to address it, you have to do it by yourself. You can do it, you know, people are there to help you, and you got a community. You got people that you can lean on, friends. I have friends, I have family. You know, and like I said, like, maybe when I was going through my time, I was a little bit more private than I normally am. But I knew I always had, like, I got my core. I knew I had certain people that always had my back. And, like, that's a good thing.
Like, yeah. And another thing, like, now, like, when I do hit these, like, low, because sometimes, you know, I still have moments where it kind of just fluctuates, where it goes up and down. And when I do hit, like, you know, these lows or whatever, I don't think it really goes below, like, a 4, 5, you know, which is still low. But, like, in that moment, like, this self-talk that I give myself, positive, like, yo, this ain't gonna last. Like, I'm gonna make it out. I just gotta figure out a plan. Right now, I'm uncomfortable. What's making me uncomfortable about the situation? So there's the process. Then now I'm starting to process and figuring out and trying to pinpoint the thing that's within that situation that's making me uncomfortable, and, like, then attack it. I'm gonna address that, whatever it is. Like the part, like, all right. So I live in this townhouse complex, right?
Okay.
I don't know none of these people. I might say good morning, probably like 3 or 4 people that live, like, you know, because these townhomes, they're connected or whatever, right? I might say good morning and stuff like 2 or 3 of these people. And it's because they live, like, right next door to me. You know, we usually, like, leave for work and stuff, like, around the same time. So we see each other, so we say, you know, and then sometimes I'm out there with Maddie, and they say hi to Maddie and stuff like that. And, you know, we just have these, like, real, like, surface conversation and interaction, right?
Right.
But people come and go. As far as, like, they sign a 1-year lease, and then, you know, then they're gone. Like, it's very rare you see people stay for, like, 2, 3, 4 years.
Right.
Here, you know, my neighbors have changed, like, probably like 3 or 4 times since I've been here. Like, I'm on my 2nd year, like, lease, like, renting in the spot. It started bugging me when I started seeing people. Mind you, Phil, I have no connection to these people. And they leaving, they moving, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they packing all these stuff. It started bugging me. And so I was like, yo, why is that bothering me? Like, why? Why do I care that these people are moving out and leaving and going somewhere else. Like, when I really, like, broke it down, it just, I felt like my life was stagnant and I wasn't progressing.
And they're moving. They're moving.
And
that was a visual.
Phil, they could have been moving to something worse. You feel what I'm saying? But, like, I created this whole thing in my brain, in my head.
In their head that you thought they were moving on to somewhere better than you.
Bro, yeah. Man, like, I had to attack that. I had to figure out what it was. And then I started attacking. I'm like, no. I'm like, all right, my situation, yeah, I'm starting over, but look where I'm at. And you're like, I had to start telling myself, yo, you're in a good place and you're doing good. And if you feel like it's moving slow, change it. Do something about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you still in control of that. So, like,
what I would say, and my only counter argument is, like, do something, change it. But if you do something and try to change it, don't think that just because you do something and try to change it, it's going to change that moment. It might take time with changing it. And that's another thing.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm supposed to feel better. I'm working out again, but, like, you only went to the gym once. You know, you might have to give it more time.
Right.
I went to one counseling session. Why don't I feel better? Why don't this guy help me? He didn't solve my problem. It needs to be a more than one session talk. You know,
right.
Right. Like,
right.
You know. So for the listeners out there, if you're going through a tough time and you really are ready to address it and you do make changes, also be patient with those changes because it's going to take time. And like I said, I think for both our situation, I mean, we're both in a better place. But think about it; it took months. That doesn't. For now, for me, I can look back and be like, wow, that wasn't that time flew. But months, sometimes when you're not feeling good, months drag, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, months seem like a long time, but then when you look back, it seems like, I can't remember, like, it just seems like like, Miles is already like 5 months, like, where did that go? When he was born, I was so, having a hard time, and now he's already like 5 months, and I'm like, he's like the easy one. I love this dude, man. I mean, I love both my boys. A.K.A. Dash, Bennett, A.K.A. Dash. You won't let me call him Bennett anymore. But they're both, I look at them like, I was really thinking that I wasn't good. They think I'm good.
Exactly. Yep.
They're both happy. So they're both good kids. And, you know.
Yeah, man. And so like, that's what it is. It's, do those things. Find those things that are positive and surround yourself with positivity, man. Positive vibes, man. Like, seriously. Like,
it's not
I
fake,
really don't.
Like the positivity, like this positivity that I speak, the positive filter, I want to make a big difference for the listeners. Being positive and addressing and being positive does not mean being fake and thinking the world is great. Being positive means you're taking an energy that is useful for you and negating negative energy. Like, you address and you do have a awareness of bad things happening or when you're having a hard time. But what I say, the positive lens is, as you say, like looking at it from a bright side, what lessons you're going to learn, having that growth mindset, like rather than like sit in this and struggle, what can I learn from this struggle and get better and be a better person? So, when I am a positive person, doesn't necessarily mean I'm a 10, if that makes sense for the listeners. Being a positive person doesn't mean you're fake smiling. Being a positive person doesn't mean you lie and say fake compliments to people. Being a positive person means you help someone. Maybe being a positive person could be telling someone the hard truth, but you're doing it with the mindset of helping them be better. That's a positive thing, right? Like if you're not doing it in a mean way to be negative. So for all the people out there, when they say, oh, you're Mr. Positive, don't get it twisted that you can be a positive person and not always be happy. You can allow yourself as a positive person to be sad or have a hard time or struggle. The difference is between a positive person and a negative person is that when you allow yourself to struggle and have hard times, a positive person will work to get out of it or use it to learn. A negative person will just sit in that bad space. So,
and not only sit in it, but then also like tear another person down.
Oh yeah, admit it. Like,
you know,
admit
yeah, right. And so it's like, man, you already know how I feel about that. Like at this point in time of my life, man, like I ain't got no problem cutting people off. Like I don't want to deal with it. There's too many stuff that I can deal with within myself, and there's too much growth that I need to do as a person on a day-to-day basis. You know what I'm saying? To just have negativity just sitting around me. Like, bro, like I ain't got no time for that.
Right.
Like my tolerance towards just that negative stuff, I'm just like, man, whatever. Like I just cut people off. Like I know it sounds harsh, but like I want people around me that has good intentions. Like to me, like that's being positive. Where's your intentions at? You're not gonna get it right. Everybody makes mistakes, right? But what was your intentions with that action? Like was it to help that person? Was it to support that person? Was it to better yourself? Like what was your intent? If you got good intentions, man, I can deal with that. We can, like, you know, because I feel like that's what it should be. It should be good intentions. Like if you have a negative and malice towards somebody, like for a situation, it's like, and that's how you move towards them, and that's your action steps, like, man, that's where the negative to me come in. And it's like, that's what I'm talking about, like positive vibes, man, just positive people. You just want that around you. You want to surround yourself with that. Like, and it really is, like you said, feel like it's contagious. Either one, positive or negative, it's contagious. Right. And so it's like, and that's why I feed so much off of you guys, you know. Like I tell you guys that all the time. In every group that I'm in, it's like, man, here come Hill again with some random, you know what I'm saying, touchy Philly Jones telling us he loves us.
Yeah.
But like I do that because like it's just important. Like y'all gotta know that. To me, I feel like I gotta tell the people that's close to me how I feel about it. They need to know. I ain't gonna wait until like we at a funeral for me to tell, you know, everybody else how I felt about the individual.
Right.
That's wasted time.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but it's contagious though, because then it's like, you know, me telling you like, hey man, like, yo, you doing great, man. You doing great as a dad. You doing great as a person. It encourages me to be a better person.
Right. And
then we just feed off of each other. And I feel like, you know, even though we're in all these groups together, like that's what happens though. We feed off each other with this, you know, with just this positive energy, and we miles away from each other.
Right. And I think,
but yet we're able to feed each other.
And I give a shout out, like my coworkers, you know, they're positive, so it was hard for me to sit in that negative space because I had people that actually worked with me that gave me positive. I could just think if I had a negative work environment and already didn't like work, that would just compounded it. I have a wife that loves me and that like was really a rock during my situation. I could imagine if I had one person, like if I had a spouse that didn't want to be with me like that, and then I have my friends who I can reach out to that. So you're right, like, you know, that's another thing. Like obviously, just not just surround yourself with good people, but lean on those people. So, I mean, we talked for a while. I think we kind of danced around it. We explained some stressors that we went through. We were very vulnerable, and we were honest. I want to just kind of use this last couple minutes to tell the listeners that if you're going through a hard time, ask for help. Do not let it compound and just linger until you're at a 2 or 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let it get there. If you see yourself slipping, you know, reach out for help. Read resources, use counseling, go see a doctor, you know, meditation, yoga, exercise, whatever positive thing that you need, try to use that. Reach your support. I really want people to listen to this episode and know that even the Positive Filter, you know, even as a Positive Filter, I went through tough times. That it doesn't mean that it's going to be forever. That's one. And two, you know, that doesn't, just because you're in a bad place or a negative place doesn't mean that's who you are as a person. That's just a temporary situation. Like,
Right.
I don't believe that was me. Like, I am Positive Philter, if I were to
Right.
say. So, reach out for help. Hope this, if you listen to this podcast and you're in that bad place, I hope this episode helps you to reach out. And if you're in a good place, I hope this episode reaffirms you to keep doing what you're doing and keep being awesome, and just keep, if you're doing good, don't, keep on doing what makes you good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Keep doing it. Keep doing the things, the activities, and whatever that makes you feel good about yourself. Keep doing it. Don't let those things go.
Yep. Every day, man. Every day, fight for your happiness. Like, fight for that happiness. Fight for your happiness every single day. You deserve it. Like, that's what it is, man. Yeah. So you hit it right on the head, Phil.
And assess it. Just know where you are and fight for it. Some days it's easier to fight for it than others.
Yeah. Yep.
Any plugs?
Definitely true.
I don't really got any plug. Oh, well, if one plug, follow Positive Philter, share an episode, write a review on iTunes if you want. We also have like shirts and hats, which you can purchase. I don't know.
My plug. Shout out to Maddie. Little semi-bad 2.5-year-old, about to be 3. But she's amazing. Yeah. But she's awesome, and she really is in those terrible twos right now.
And she looks like you in the face.
That's my little homie. So I had it today. She wore me out. So yeah, tons of energy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
I think that's a shout out. I guess I don't know. Shout out to my wife like always. Shout out to my son
Maggie. Yeah.
Miles and
Miles. I know. I can't wait to meet Miles.
Jack and Elastigirl.
Go ahead.
You did incredible. And shout out to all my coworkers for being really good support at work. Shout out to my friends at MP2. Shout out to my brothers in Alpha. I don't know. I can't think of anybody else. Shout out to my family. Yeah. I got to say that, my family. Shout out to my UK family. They know who they are. All the shout outs. But we'll come back. And Hillard, now that we're both in a better place, we gotta routinely check in with each other and do some more episodes because we're both.
All right, man. Yeah, they're giving me a lot more responsibilities this year at work, but yeah, man, we definitely can make it happen.
We'll fit it in once a month.
We'll definitely fit it in.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, you make time for the stuff you want to do. So this is something I want to do.
Yeah, we're not going to let it go from November to now. That's too long of a gap.
Yeah. Nah, it won't be that long.
So, thank you for being on the air, and we're out.
Thank you for listening to Positive Philter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends, and like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity of Movement. Thanks for listening.